This is Eye ForeSight.com, podcast series number 1.
We are the writers of the future.
The Dark War Against the Human Soul, podcast 1, part 7 of 8, by Eye ForeSight.
We are the writers of the future.
Part 7, Chapter 14 and Chapter 15. Chapter 14, Know the spiritual truth of the law of the universe and the truth will set you free.
14. Know the spiritual truth of the law of the universe and the truth will set you free. By aligning our behavior to objective morality, we can manifest freedom into the world. The state of ignorance is the root cause of all evil and suffering. Being content with living in ignorance, a limited station in life without questioning the value of human existence, is a disservice to humanity. For as long as you are content to remain a caged bird, you will not discover that you can escape.
True freedom will happen when we live in alignment with the principles of objective moral truths, and that requires self-discovery. Knowing oneself is the beginning of all wisdom.
Human beings have infinite worth. We need to stand in our power of self-respect and dignity to attain our infinite human worth. We need to stop being naive children, and stop putting our hope and faith in daddy and mommy's government to protect and take care of us. Governments want us to believe that we cannot live without government, so we can be dependent on them and they can continue their violence against us.
The human condition does not need to live like cattle at the whim of a few rulers called government. The government does not build a society. They program the sheeple to believe that without government, there will be chaos, and society cannot exist. But the fact is that government is slavery and violence. Governments act as middlemen to extort money from the public and to get a kickback from their association and crony capitalism. Crony capitalism, an economic system in which individuals and businesses with political connections and influence are favored, as through tax breaks, grants, and other forms of government assistance, in ways seen as suppressing open competition in a free market. Society exists because we are the builders of society. We are the creators of building structures and technologies. Without the government, we can stand together and create community and build what we need to get our communities functioning. We do not need government regulation to build roads or to be prosperous, for governments hinder prosperity with policy, regulation, duress, and violence. Without government, there will be people who can build a better society than the existing one. There have been inventors in history who have discovered free energy from the natural sources that can power the entire Earth and that are in harmony with Mother's nature. The scientist that invented the car's engine that could run on the water was found dead. Nikola Tesla's inventions to power the entire Earth with free energy were crushed by the ruling psychopaths of his days. What we can imagine into existence, we can build it into existence. As the gods create, so can humans create. It is the secret of creations. The supreme creator of all that is has given humans the free will and choice to choose. The dark occultists through the power of government seek to play God as demigods to hold back spiritual progress. Government is about controlling humans' energy and resource, to keep humans distracted from living in their higher self. The government system is to program and put limitations on what humans can or cannot do, have, or think. They are to mind control humans from living in alignment with the soul of the universe. It's time to wake up. We are the builders of our society. We are the writers of the future. What we create in the now moment will become the future of tomorrow. What we create in the collective mind will manifest in the collective reality. The current cultural system of society is about denying the majority of humans the right to self-determination and self-government and giving a small group of parasitic psychopaths the right to parasite on the energy of the majority. We don't need to be governed. The government and their politicians are parasitic psychopaths. They are scamming, defrauding, and killing us. In Jeremy Locke's book, The End of All Evil, he quoted, "Evil. The crucial key to understanding our world is to understand the nature of evil. Evil challenges the value of people by denying them the opportunity to make their own choices, by denying them the chance to grow strong in learning and understanding. Freedom. While evil seeks to destroy or hide a person's worth, freedom shows humans their full potential and their full value. With freedom, people have loved, cured disease, removed hunger, eased labor, and lived in peace. With freedom, happiness is possible. Freedom is the exact opposite of evil. Everything written in this book is written to destroy the ideas of culture and law. The lesson of this book is simple: nothing on earth is more valuable than you. This book, The End of All Evil, by Jeremy Locke, is available online in PDF and on YouTube audio. Man-made laws are artificial ideas created by evil to restrict our freedom, our consciousness, our sovereign natural rights, and our infinite worth. Most people will make good choices if given the right knowledge. Without government interferences, their artificial laws, their violence, their agent provocateurs, their poisonous ideologies to create division, their war for human blood, their constant invention of boogeymen in foreign lands, and their fake news, people would live in peace and help out their neighbors. Society would thrive because no one would live under the constraint of extortion and duress of violence, and no one would live under the theft of human rights. In the natural world, the resources are abundant. Human imagination can transform this world into love and harmony when we stand in our power as the source of change. We can live as a voluntary and responsible society where people stand in their power to improve the planet out of love for all beings. No one will live under the duress of violence for not complying with the false construction of man-made artificial laws. We will have more time to teach the future generation to become spiritual warriors by living a virtuous life. People would become wiser in the spiritual ways of truth, love, beauty, and freedom, where the knowledge of wisdom becomes common sense action.
Chapter 15. The best way to predict the future is to create it in the now.
15. The best way to predict the future is to create it in the now. For more than 100 years, the dark occultists have been implementing their plans of how they envision the world for humanity, their one-world government. In 1993, they had a summit on their agenda. They wrote a plan, Agenda 21, which consists of 331 pages of how they wanted the future to look like for the human race. It is climate change and the transhuman agenda. The best way to predict the future is to create it, and that is what they did back in the years 1940 and 1993.
The future they had envisioned for humanity is the extermination of 95% of the population of humanity, and the ones that survive are to become mindless cattle hooked into the hive mind internet of all things. The future they planned is here now in the present: cell phones as tracking devices, lockdowns and stay-home orders, Java passports, nano-Jabas as a liquid to microchip humans, graphene oxide and Xeon VID Java, augmented reality, robots, chip implants, transhumans, weather control weapons, cloning animals and human in a lab, etc.
The dark forces are carrying out their agenda to end humanity as a biological human. The dark occultist endgame is to turn humanity into a confined hive mind, a cyborg human hooked into virtual reality. The parasitic psychopaths want to delete the organic humans and replace them with human cyborg hooked into an AI, artificial intelligence, system. This is their transhuman agenda. We, humans, have been dumbed down long enough, so these ruling psychopaths assume that they will succeed in the destruction of the human race. We are in a spiritual war against the dark force for the soul of planet Earth. If we don't stand up against the dark occultists, the future for us and our children will be obsolete. This is our opportunity to fight back and create freedom for ourselves and the future generation.
The choices are simple. Number 1. Do nothing. Stay within their slave system and they own our soul. Number 2. Take ownership of our soul and delete their system. Or number 3. Take control of our destiny and exit their system.
The number 3 option is when there is not enough human waking up to fight the ruling psychopaths. The number 2 option is when the collective minds of the majority of humans wake up. The humans collectively cooperate to work toward deleting the dark occultist system of government and work toward freedom and self-determination. Empowerment with the right knowledge. To have a chance to win, we must first have a mindset to win by our willpower, and imagination to win. Next are having the right knowledge and the right occult knowledge. Occult means hidden knowledge. We need to have the same knowledge as our enemies have or even more, so we can be on equal planes against them. This spiritual war against our enemies will be the deciding factor that will affect the soul of planet Earth. Will it be the spiritual evolution of humanity or the anti-evolutionary progress of humanity? Will you succumb to evil or will you be free from slavery?
To predict the outcome of winning is to have the right knowledge, as Sun Tzu's words from thousands of years ago, quoted from the book The Art of War. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. The reason for our uncertainty about the future is that we do not know ourselves or our enemies. We do not know our higher self, the most important power from within. Most of us live on survival instinct, our lower mind. Often fear-based and victim narrative of who we are. Evil wants us to live in our lower-based nature, like animals' consciousness. So evil can have power over our body, our mind, and our soul.
To overcome the spiritual war against our enemies is to know ourselves and know our enemies. In the eyes of the Creator of the universe, we are all equal beings of free will, and we are all different in individuality with our uniqueness and talents. The Creator has given us the spark of the divine light. Our spiritual gifts of psychic power are our guts, our heart, our third eye, and our connection to the divine light of knowingness. But unfortunately, most people live in fear and are superstitious about their true potential and power from within. This is the reason why the current condition of humanity is in darkness, and evil is winning because most people do not live in their higher self. Humanity is disconnected from the natural world because they are mesmerized by the fake reality, which enticed them. You acknowledge this current fact and are willing to take an empowering action of love and light is the beginning of wisdom and virtue. With the right knowledge of who we are, it is our choice of the will to stand in our power to create a definite future in the now. To have a predictable outcome of the future is to create it. Our enemies are serious about annihilating us. DARPA, abbreviation for Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, is the central research and development organization for the U.S. Department of Defense. DARPA is a department of the Defense Intelligence Agency that researches weapons to target the enemies. The real enemies that they target are us, their human slaves. We humans of the Earth are their target enemies for the Human Depopulation Agenda 21. This is a wake-up call to stand in your power and become a spiritual warrior of love and light. We must not succumb to evil or we will face cosmic judgment. This is a call to take back your power and connect to your higher self. Our true nature is a divine soul, a divine spark of the Creator of the universe. If we choose to succumb to evil by letting evil run its course, we will face the consequence of cosmic judgment.
If we do nothing to change the course of our future, the consequence for future generations will be the extinction of the organic human. The gender identity will disappear into transhuman, and the birth process will be cloned inside a laboratory. Just imagine about 300 years from now, if we do nothing to fight back in the present moment against this evil Agenda 21, then the future generations of 300 years into the future will look like a sexless golem, cloned in a lab like the grey aliens that some people claim to visit them in the astral realm. The ruling psychopaths are doing a test run to get us to comply with the jabber and microchip injection. The mask wearing to protect us from a deadly virus like the flu virus with a 99.7% survival rate is a scam. The time to say no. No. Is in the now.
Stop the mask wearing. Support the small businesses that do not enforce mask wearing. Exit the current system because the Great Reset will be requiring JABA passports or will be restricting people from getting access to services and goods in society for having no JABA passports. The New World Order is slowly implementing a cashless society requirement to track everyone, which includes microchips and JABA passports to get goods and services.
Things to consider for surviving the digital prison society. The solution is to create our community, off the grid and self-sufficient as an alternative to their smart city and 5G cell towers. Find like-minded people to band together as a community to create our economy outside of the controlled grid systems.
Consider learning survival skills.
Minimum skills of survival are needed. 1. Knowledge of gardening. 2. Knowledge of all self-defense, especially firearms. 3. Ability to endure cold water showers. 4. Train the body to be healthy. 5. Have some knowledge of plant medicine and energy healings. 6. Knowledge of spiritual wisdom to discern information, etc.
Be thinking about goals to create our future of freedom.
Step 1. If all of us are on the same page, we can project a vision of freedom for the world. Then we can make it a long-term goal of what kind of actions or services we can offer to humanity to get to that projected vision.
Step 2. Every day, make specific small goals to navigate through life to get to that long-term goal, the collective co-creating toward freedom and peace.
5G is a military technology. It has nothing to do with bringing you faster internet connection, okay? It's a military technology meant to surveil you. You think I'm a theorist theorizing that? Look up Mark Steele. Mark Steele is a guy from the United Kingdom who has worked in the military with 5G. It is a military technology, make no mistake. They did not spend billions of dollars on this technology to bring you faster internet. That's the cover story. That's the Trojan horse, folks. Just like our phones, there's a front end and a back end. They're going to use the back end of 5G on us if we let them put up small cells all over the place, okay? We are bioelectric beings. We have an electrical current that runs through us and we emanate an electromagnetic frequency, okay? These towers and these small cells they're planning on putting on every city block will fry your DNA. You will not literally be able to reproduce. I'm not trying to fearmonger, but I'm going to tell you that the birds fall out of the sky in Hague, Netherlands, when they ran a 5G test. Birds fell out of the park in the surrounding areas that they tested this 5G on, okay? Not only that, but regular cell towers disrupt bird migratory routes as it is. 5G is 1,000 times worse, yo. So this is not fear-mongering. This is the truth of literally what 5G would do if we let it happen. We don't have to let it happen. If we talk, do things like this. I'm making a video right now about 5G. What are you doing? Let's make videos about 5G because this shit will fuck us up if we let it. Okay, we'll catch you guys next time.
The end of Part 7 of 8.